Today I'm starting a series of vlogs that's going to sort of follow the creative process behind the making of my next short film, which currently doesn't really have a title. I'm working on it. The theme is sort of around Red Riding Hood, but with a twist, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, this will be for my entry to NightMind's 2020 Candybowl, which I've entered the past 2 years. First year I got in, last year my film was not very good, so. But that was actually the last thing I uploaded on this channel. It was almost exactly a year ago now. I mean, give or take. I don't know when this vlog specifically will come out, but, you know, it's been a long time. And, you know, a lot has happened. Moved, I lost my job, got a new job, a whole bunch of stuff. But, you know, I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place creatively, and I think this is going to be good. Sort of a behind the scenes, documenting for myself and hopefully for other people to see the creative process. And the big thing I'm going to be making for this is a puppet. That's pretty much what these vlogs are going to center around. It's the development of a very weird puppet. So my idea is to I don't want to give away too much about the story of the film, you know, in this series of vlogs. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be a take on Red Riding Hood, but the wolf isn't just some weird, malevolent, anthropomorphic wolf that, like, is trying to eat her. I thought that was kind of weird, you know, growing up, but it is one of the oldest, like, monster stories in sort of Western culture, so I thought it would be an interesting, yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to do a take of Little Red Riding Hood where the wolf is more like a shapeshifter. There's a lot of different cryptids that kind of fall into that category of being some sort of shapeshifter that tends to appear as a wolf. You know, a lot of people credit skinwalkers or wendigos. Of course, the, like, traditional mythology around those don't always line up with the stories you read online of people's supposed encounters with skinwalkers or wendigos, but maybe, I don't know, even maybe a dog man would make more sense than just a weird anthropomorphic wolf pretending to be somebody's grandmother in order to eat them. So that's sort of my idea. It is heavily being based on sort of the modern bastardization of the skinwalker sort of mythos, where it's something that could possess somebody. It's something that can shapeshift between being a wolf or a person or something. Yeah, I got so many thoughts going around in my head. It's hard to get them all on camera. But I thought I'd kind of document some of my process of making and thinking through the design. Well, my basic design for the costume that will be the centerpiece of this film is going to be me as Red Riding Hood, because most of my films are a one-man production, one-woman production. Yeah, you get the idea. But I'll have a puppet. I've seen these really, really fantastic takes on sort of puppets that are like, they're usually dragons. I'll put a couple pictures up probably to give a frame of reference. I've seen a lot of videos of people making these sort of cosplay or costume, like, dragon puppets that go on their arm and the head is sort of like here and it looks like they're sitting on them. And that's sort of where the base of my idea came up with, that, like, the wolf in this film is sort of taking over Red Riding Hood, is sort of becoming part of her or stalking her. So I'll be wearing a cape and then I'll have the wolf as a puppet. So it looks like I have my other arm under the cape, but actually my arm is the wolf controlling it. It's gonna look a little weird. It's gonna look scary. I really like puppetry though. You know, I think it's a really underutilized art form, especially today, and especially in horror. Like, obviously puppets can look kind of janky. I have a couple, and they're a little scary looking. But you know, that's what you want. You want them to look uneasy. You want them to look weird. These are my two puppets. This is Garcliff. He has one eye. He's very scary. I actually got him to do some short films with, and I haven't gotten around to like really finalizing the scripts or finding people to do them with me. It's hard to shoot a film all by yourself, you know? And I have, this is Emily. She's a nightmare. She watches our neighbors. She's supposed to be a dolphin, I think. She's very scary. And Garcliff has played the role. He has had a role already. He was my character's familiar in my D&D sessions, which always got a kick out of everybody reacting to me pulling a puppet out when I summoned my familiar. Alright, I guess I'll get to work. So I had kind of drawn up some basic artwork to get an idea of what I wanted to do. It's very rough, and it just went through the wash today, and I haven't had time to redraw it. So it looks bad. It looks a little spooky. It's probably gonna come up kind of backwards. But I have kind of like an idea of the head shape and the teeth and the nose and eyes, which I'm gonna make out of clay. Having a really, really hard time finding clay anywhere. I kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, so my options are limited. I haven't had a chance to make a trip into the big city of Bangor lately. But my local Walmarts don't have modeling clay. All I can find is that really cheap Crayola air dry clay, which I've had really bad experiences with. I don't really want to take a chance. But I'll be doing those in another video once I get the clay. I'm just going to be making the basic head shape out of foam today, kind of maybe gluing it together. I'll see, depending on how much time I have. I do have this fox skull. He's kind of cool. I'm using him for reference. This was found on a beach in northern Maine. Well, I say northern down east, around Lubeck, I think. He's a pretty guy. But yeah, I guess I'll get started. So I'm going to draw out the basic head shape on here, at least for the top of the head. I don't have all the materials, a lot of my art supplies, because I've moved quite a bit. All my art supplies have ended up all over the place, mostly at my parents' house or still packed away in boxes, so it's kind of hard. But this is pretty thin foam, so I didn't think I would need like my X-Acto knife or anything to work on this. Maybe. He's gonna have a very long nose. I haven't done a lot with this. This is my first time making a puppet or anything. I have done quite a bit of like sewing, and I've made like, I made a big red fox tail one time. That was probably one of the cooler things that I've done. And I made some pretty cool costumes for, I think, the last Bangor Comic Con. I don't think we'd had, oh no, it was not the last one. One before that. I made some pretty good like Sonic and Tails costumes for me and my friend Jim. It was a couple of years ago now. I haven't really done a big like, you know, material intensive costume in a while. It was kind of weird. It's kind of weird looking. Let's start. It's a start, you know. It's all trial and error. It has to be kind of filled in the back, anyways. Yeah, come on. Okay. Let's kind of start. I make like a jaw underneath. He's a little weird. So I don't know what to do about, you know, I've watched so many videos of people making costumes, especially like foam intensive costumes, and you know, it's a lot harder to do. Like, they make it look so easy. And kudos to the people that like can make a living off of making costumes and stuff like that. Have him like that. My hand will go there. That's his jaw. Yeah, that's a start. Right. Probably find a way to glue these together, which means I should have warmed up my glue gun. A very ancient glue gun. I didn't know when I would start gluing though, because you know, I'm just going into this blind. We'll see what happens, alright? Wait. Say hi. Come here. This is Candy. She's a little baby. She's purring a bunch. Hey, Candy. You're a good girl. Oh man, she's purring so loud. Listen to her. Yeah. You're so loud. Alright. I'll let you go. I know, you just want food. She's a big pig. Yeah, see what's going on? Yeah. So, I guess while I'm waiting for that to warm up, and talk a little bit about like, I've gotten really in lately to studying like all sorts of cryptids and myths and legends, and it's just been kind of like my passive hobby for a while. And I like spooky things. I've really gotten into listening and reading to people's alleged stories of encountering creatures like that. So it's kind of neat that I get to apply that to something. I think one of my favorite, like, I don't know how accurate that is, but one of my favorite aspects of the sort of like skinwalker legend is that like you really shouldn't, I don't want to say legend, the skinwalker like believing in them. Jeez, I'm just like, my brain is not working today. You get what I mean. One of my favorite parts about skinwalkers is that supposedly if you speak about them, you will draw them near you, which is why a lot of people who like staunchly believe in skinwalkers, a lot of people don't like to talk about them if they really, really believe. Which is interesting, you know, because it's really like kind of done the opposite. People are really, really fascinated, and there's been a lot of weird takes from people who don't understand the original native legends. But I think another part I really like is that in my research about skinwalkers and even wendigos, because there's some level of overlap with those too, is that there's sort of a variation, like there's a version in every, or I can't say every, Native American tribe, but a lot of the ones I've looked at, especially a lot of the ones in Maine, have their own version. The Penobscot have their own. It's sort of a man, or the spirit of a man, or some sort of creature. You know, the legend sort of varies, but it has like a frozen heart, a literally frozen heart, because a lot of it has to do with being a bad person, or inviting evil into your life, or doing something really bad makes you into a skinwalker. There's a lot of variations, but it's interesting that like a tribe that existed all the way on the East Coast has the same sort of mythical creature that exists in their folklore, that's a good word I was looking for. A creature that exists in their folklore that's very, very similar to one that exists in the Navajo tribe. Which is just very strange, you know, you wouldn't think such a similar idea could have reached all the way out here, or maybe it went the other way. We don't really know. There's a lot of interesting parts with that. But I've always wondered, like, you know, I've had lengthy discussions about the idea, and I've listened to a lot of like podcasts and stories of people's supposed encounters. Like, you don't really know how true they are because it's the internet, but people's supposed encounters with skinwalkers and wendigos and crawlers and all sorts of creatures of a similar vein. And just the thought that, like, part of the folklore surrounding it is that if you speak of them, you draw them to you. Like, does that make someone more vulnerable? I guess. I don't know. Depends on how skeptical you are, how much you believe in something. Like, I don't know if I really believe in any of this, but I like entertaining thoughts. Oh, shoot. I think that will hold. I need to get some... My next step after, like, fleshing this out is to wrap it in black fabric and then get some fake fur and do that. Next, glued those together. So I've kind of cut slits in the back of this so it will, like, fold in together. So kind of it'll round out eventually. Right now it looks weird. Kind of looks, I don't know, his long nose is really funny. I like him. And see, it's not the worst. He's sort of rounded out and filled in. Next, let's figure out his nose. I think I want his nose to go down a little bit, and then I want to make the lower jaw. Make it big now. It's gonna have to be 2 parts, anyways. So I have to have space to put my hand in. Well, my thumb. Yeah, that's, well, it's gonna have to be a little detached anyways. Oh my god, there's already cat hair on this. What happened? Alright, so it's a little bit of an overbite, but that's okay. Well, there, I did kind of like a weird, like, indentation groove. Not quite sure what my, like thought process with that is. Actually, that works perfectly. If I glue this together, I have a space for my thumb. Yeah, I think that will work quite nicely. Just glue everywhere. But there. Now I have my jaw, my lower jaw, fit onto this. Jeez, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to move that back. He's not going to be loose, but yeah, it's... Oops. Oh, hi, Connie. There's my other cat coming to say hi. Oh, come here. This is a Kami. She's a nice girl. She is a lot more high energy and crazy. I'm just gonna keep a little Halloween bow on. Yeah, and she's very squiggly. She's likes to be loved on her own terms, for sure. Oops. Oh, come on. So close. pieces. The other ear. Right. Now he's got 2 ears. Oops. It's the wolf. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. He's got shape. He's not quite so lopsided as he was before. Oh, sorry, his head's kind of like sideways. There we go. Wolf. Oops. So you should probably go forward a little bit. And I'm gonna add foam on the back so they're a little more two-dimensional. Up there. Yeah, I want to put like some foam on the back so it's sort of a little more three-dimensional. Don't look quite so silly. But that is where I'm going to leave it today. Thank you for watching, and I will be back with another update in a little bit about this. Probably in a couple days. Alright, bye! Hi, welcome back. Sorry I haven't made too many updates. I have been still working on my project, but I've just been really tired. Like, I don't know, like I've been sleeping alright, but it feels like I wake up just exhausted. And almost like, I don't know, like I've been awake in my sleep for some reason. It's weird. It's probably I'm just stressed out with work and trying to get this done in time and all that. But so far, the puppet's coming along pretty good. Today, I'm going to be putting the fur on it. And now, I had an idea in my mind about what I wanted to do for the fur. And I found this great fur at Joann Fabric, but it's a little out of my price range, and anything else would take too long to get here because of how the postal service is right now, and so I'm doing probably one of my best things when it comes to making projects like this. I'm improvising. So I have this bright yellow fur that I used to make a cosplay a couple of years ago where I was Tails the Fox and my friend Jim was Sonic, which I have some dark blue fur too, but I felt like this yellow, obviously the puppet is not going to be this bright garish yellow. It's going to be more natural because I'm going to be dyeing it using Rip dye, which will be interesting because I tried that a couple of years ago when I was making those other costumes, and I was working on making like this giant red panda tail as well. And when I dyed the fur, I've dyed some of this fur. The normal dyeing method that they suggest is way too hot, and it melted it and made all the fur like matte together, so it looked really bad. So I'm gonna see how this works, but first I need to cut out the pieces I need for the puppet and figure out. I can't wait to show them to you guys. He's really far along. He's totally assembled, has all the like base like black fabric on now, and he's looking pretty scary. Where is he? I swear I had him down here on the table. It's a weird noise. I'll be right back. That's not right. Why is that on? Ugh. Oh. This isn't right. There we go. So I didn't record a lot of the process of like getting him assembled to this state. It's because I was kind of doing it when I was tired after work, you know, a little time I had. But he is all put together except he just needs fur now. I want to go over some of the things I did. So all this black fabric is actually an extra large t-shirt that I just got pretty cheap at Walmart. I made his teeth. I actually ended up having to remake his teeth from what I recorded because I had bought a certain type of modeling clay that doesn't dry ever, and you can't bake it or anything. It stays pliable. So I had to find different clay, and I painted his teeth white, and I didn't give him the molars up there, but I did give him extra molars down here, as I figured you'd see the bottom jaw more than the top jaw. He has a tongue, just have fabric. His nose is a separate piece of foam covered in black fabric. His eyes are also made of clay. Kind of get a good try and focus. My phone has bad focus. And he also has like angry eyebrows. They're separate pieces of foam. Gonna give him a little more expression. His ears are pretty big and they stand up well, luckily. I think helps having that extra piece of foam on the back. His jaw, I was pretty proud of how I figured this out. So when I cut up the t-shirt to cover him, I ended up I cut out the collar of the shirt and like the parts around the sleeves with the stitching, and this is one of the parts around the sleeves. I was going to use the collar, but it was a little too big, and I wrapped it around his head, and it connects to his lower jaw. And on the inside, I ended up can't really see it very well because it's kind of dark, but I made a separate like layer of foam up here, like a little pocket to put my hand in so it's not just freely floating around, and I put a piece of fabric that kind of hangs down to cover up my hand. At least that's the idea. It's not perfect, but you know, for low budget and pretty quick, he's turned out pretty alright. And of course the sleeve goes down. It's just the rest of the fabric from that. So, it's, oh, not quite done with this project yet. Running a little bit out of time, but, you know, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful I can get it done in time. Really haven't been sleeping well. I've been sleeping, but waking up exhausted. And I think there's too much going on at work and my family, and this project keeps giving me tons of different stuff wrong. Everything, I'm trying hard to be resourceful. But, so the fur I dyed, let's get back. The fur I dyed, it's still yellow. It's a little darker yellow, but this isn't a golden retriever that I'm making. The backing turned brown, but it's not what I wanted. But that's okay, because all things work out in time. And this too shall work out. This will work out. So, I don't know if I've even shown what he looks like so far. Here he is. He's beautiful. He has eyes. He has what big teeth he has. What big ears he has. But he'll have hair soon. So the hair, right, the fur I found. It took much longer than I wanted to get around to this part. But this was a little bit of a setback, but that's fine. Because I did find fur today. I went into Bangor for a special trip and I found these swatches of fur. They're 9 by 12 inches. Buying 8 of these was cheaper than buying even a yard of faux fur at the same stores. So that's what I had to do. Hey, what are you doing? They've been a little skittish too, and scared or something. Don't know what the... I mean, they don't like the puppet. They don't like him at all. I don't understand why. I don't get it. But today I'll do a time lapse of finishing him up. Put fur on him, just the size of the swatches. And then he'll be complete. We'll get a good look at what he will become. It will be something beautiful, for sure. It will be just as it was intended. It's pretty well put together now. Hello. Welcome back. It's finally done. It's time. It's time. I've waited for this day for so long. And now, after all her hard work is complete, here I am, in the flesh. Oh, what a wonderful project. Yeah, that's what it is. A project, a work of art, the finest we'll ever know. May not look like it much now, but I will become something great. I will become a NightMind. That all sounds so cliche, right? It's just time. Happy Halloween. Welcome to the NightMind. I can't. You see, Done. No.
Oh! Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Listen to me, Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girls should go walking in these spooky old woods alone. Oh, what big eyes you have, the kind of eyes that drive wolves mad. So just to see that you don't get chased, I think I ought to walk with you for a ways. What full lips you have, they're sure to lure someone bad. So until you get to Grandma's place, I think you ought to walk with me and be safe. I'm gonna keep my sheep suit on till I'm sure that you've been shown that I can be trusted walking with you alone. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood, I'd like to hold you if I could, but you might think I'm a big bad wolf, so I won't. Oh, what a big heart I have, the better to love you with. Little Red Riding Hood, even bad wolves can be good. I'll try to keep satisfied just to walk close by your side. Maybe you'll see things my way before we get to Grandma's place. Little Red Riding Hood, you sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Oh, I mean bad. Bad?